All right, so let's dive into a story that's more than just your average science textbook tale.
Right.
You've probably heard of Watson and Crick,
Mhm.
the guys who got all the glory for figuring out
Yeah.
the structure of DNA.
Right.
But I'm willing to bet you might not know the whole story,
Yeah,
particularly the crucial role played by Rosalind Franklin.
that's right.
Her contribution is often overshadowed,
Yeah,
but her work was absolutely essential
absolutely.
to cracking that code.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a deep dive into Rosalind Franklin's life and work,
Okay.
using some sources you've shared with us.
Sounds good.
We'll go beyond the typical narrative
Mhm.
and uncover how her groundbreaking research
Yes.
helped unlock one of the biggest mysteries in science.
And it's not just about the science.
Yeah.
This story takes us into the world of scientific rivalry,
Yeah.
gender bias in a male-dominated field,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
and the often unsung heroes behind major discoveries.
Okay, so let's unpack Rosalind's background.
Born in 1920s London
Okay.
to a prominent Jewish family,
Mm-hmm.
she was brilliant from a young age.
Yeah, very much so.
Imagine being so into science that you choose it as your focus at 16.
It was an unusual path,
Yeah,
especially for a woman at that time.
I can imagine.
While her family was supportive, they initially tried to steer her
Yeah.
towards more traditional roles.
Right.
Luckily for science, Rosalind was determined to forge her own way.
Good for her.
Yeah.
She went on to Cambridge.
Yes.
And then to Paris,
Uh-huh.
where she honed her skills in this incredibly complex technique
Oh, yeah.
called X-ray crystallography.
Right.
It's like trying to decipher a coded message,
Yeah,
but instead of words, it's patterns
Yeah.
created by X-rays.
exactly.
And that's precisely what allowed Franklin
yeah,
to essentially see the structure of molecules,
that's right.
including DNA,
Well,
which was still this big unknown in the early 1950s.
it was a mystery.
So picture this.
Rosalind arrives at King's College London
Right.
to study DNA structure.
Yes,
She's a leading expert in her field,
absolutely.
ready to make some serious scientific headway.
Right.
But her relationship with colleague Maurice Wilkins
Mm.
was strained from the start.
Oh, yeah. It was a clash of personalities
Really?
and expectations, for sure.
I see.
Wilkins anticipated Rosalind would be his subordinate,
Oh, wow.
while she quite rightly expected to work independently.
Yeah, of course.
You can imagine how that played out
I can only imagine.
in the already sexist environment of academia at the time.
Not exactly a recipe for a harmonious work environment.
No, not at all.
Despite this tension,
Yeah.
Rosalind produced incredibly clear X-ray images
Amazing images.
of DNA,
Yes.
even distinguishing between two different forms, A and B,
Yeah.
the dry and wet versions.
That's right.
And one image in particular, known as Photo 51,
Photo 51.
became absolutely iconic.
Yeah, an iconic image.
It clearly showed the helical structure of DNA, a
Right.
pivotal piece of the puzzle.
Really crucial.
This is where things get a bit murky.
Yeah.
Without Rosalind's knowledge or consent,
Oh.
Wilkins showed Photo 51 to James Watson,
Mm.
who was racing to solve the DNA structure
Yep, right.
with Francis Crick at a different lab.
Yeah, another lab?
The ethical implications of this act are still debated today.
For sure.
Did this data sharing cross a line?
That's a tough one.
Would Watson and Crick have made their breakthrough without it?
Right.
It's a really complex question.
Yeah, a really complex question.
And as if that wasn't enough,
Oh, no.
a report Rosalind had written
Okay.
for a research council
Mhm.
containing key data about DNA symmetry
Yeah.
also ended up in Watson and Crick's hands.
Oh, wow.
This raises questions about how scientists protect their work,
Yeah, for sure.
especially in such a competitive field.
Right.
Imagine pouring years of your life into research only to have someone else use your findings.
Right. Without your knowledge,
It's unsettling.
it's unsettling to say the least.
Yeah.
Now, in 1953, the famous double helix paper by Watson and Crick
Mm-hmm.
is published in Nature.
Right.
They become instant scientific celebrities.
Big names.
Rosalind and Wilkins also published articles
Okay.
in the same issue,
Uh-huh.
but their contributions were quickly overshadowed.
Their contributions were overshadowed, yeah.
Although Watson and Crick did acknowledge Franklin's work
Okay.
in their paper,
Mhm.
it was a minimal mention.
Just a minimal mention.
And they didn't specifically credit her
Yeah.
with providing the crucial data
Right.
that sparked their insight.
Yeah. That sparked the insight.
Unfortunately, Rosalind's story takes a tragic turn.
Yeah.
She moves to Birkbeck College
Okay.
and continues to do brilliant work.
She does.
But her career is cut short by ovarian cancer
Oh, no.
in 1958.
That's so young.
She was only 37.
It makes you pause and think
Yeah.
about what might have been.
What might have been, even with a shortened career.
Yeah.
She made incredible contributions to science.
She did.
Imagine what she could have achieved with more time.
It really does make you wonder.
Yeah, it does.
But even with the setbacks she faced, Rosalind's work at Birkbeck College was a pivotal chapter in her career. It's like she found a renewed sense of purpose there.
Absolutely. Birkbeck offered a more supportive and collegial atmosphere.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, a stark contrast to the tension she experienced at King's.
Right.
It was Birkbeck that she turned her expertise to the emerging field of virology.
And she wasn't just dabbling, was she? She made some significant discoveries, even with less than ideal lab conditions.
Oh, absolutely. She and her team worked tirelessly, even with limited resources,
Really?
to understand the structure of viruses.
It's amazing how dedicated she was.
It is.
I mean, imagine working under a leaky roof in a basement lab.
I know, right?
That was Rosalind's reality at Birkbeck.
It was.
But even those challenges couldn't dampen her determination.
No, it could.
It really speaks to her resilience.
Yeah.
So what were some of the key breakthroughs she made in virology?
Her work on the tobacco mosaic virus was groundbreaking.
Okay.
She was able to visualize its structure in incredible detail,
Wow.
revealing that it was made up of protein subunits arranged in a helix around a central core of RNA.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
And get this, that understanding of how RNA viruses replicate
Yeah.
is still relevant today.
Really?
Especially when you consider the fight against viruses like COVID-19.
Wow, that's amazing. It's incredible how her work from decades ago
I know, it's amazing.
is still shaping our understanding of viruses today.
Precisely. It underscores the lasting impact of fundamental research. Franklin's meticulous approach and innovative use of X-ray crystallography
Yeah.
paved the way for later discoveries in virology and molecular biology.
And it's interesting to consider that her focus on viruses, particularly the tobacco mosaic virus and poliovirus,
Right.
suggests a real concern for human health.
Yes. Her research choices definitely point to a desire
Yeah.
to apply her knowledge to real-world problems.
Or make a difference.
Exactly, if she were alive today.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to imagine what area of research she might be drawn to,
Yeah.
given the challenges we face with emerging viruses
Right.
and antimicrobial resistance.
It's a question that lingers in the back of your mind, isn't it? What would Rosalind Franklin be tackling in today's scientific landscape?
It really is. Her contributions to science were cut tragically short,
Yeah, they were.
but her story continues to inspire.
It does.
It's a reminder that progress is often built on the shoulders of those who came before,
Yeah,
even if their contributions weren't always recognized in their time.
absolutely. It's tragic that it took the publication of Watson's controversial book, The Double Helix,
Yeah.
for people to start reassessing Rosalind's role in the DNA story.
That book, while insightful in some ways, also painted an unflattering portrait of Franklin.
Yeah, it did.
Thankfully, historians and scientists have been working to present a more balanced and accurate picture of her life and work.
And it's crucial that we continue to recognize and celebrate the achievements of all scientists, regardless of their gender or background.
Absolutely.
Rosalind's story is a stark reminder
Yes.
of the systemic biases that have existed
Yeah.
and unfortunately sometimes still exist in science.
You're right. Her determination to succeed in a field that often underestimated women
Right.
is truly inspiring.
It is.
It makes you think about how many other brilliant minds might have been overlooked or silenced throughout history.
It's a sobering thought, but Rosalind's legacy continues to grow.
Yeah, it does.
Not just as a pioneering scientist,
Right.
but as a symbol of perseverance
Yes.
and the importance of challenging the status quo.
Absolutely. And it's heartwarming to see how her story resonates with so many people today,
Yeah.
particularly young women pursuing careers in STEM fields.
Right.
It shows that representation matters and that sharing stories like Rosalind's can make a real difference.
Before we wrap up our deep dive into Rosalind Franklin's incredible life,
Okay.
I'd love to touch on something that struck me while reading through these sources.
All right.
Even after leaving King's and all the drama with Wilkins and Watson and Crick,
Yeah,
she still maintained professional relationships with them.
she did.
They corresponded and even met up at scientific conferences.
It's an interesting detail, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It speaks to her professionalism
Mm-hmm.
and perhaps a desire to separate the personal from the scientific.
It could be.
Or maybe it reflects her deep commitment to the pursuit of knowledge.
Yeah.
Recognizing that collaboration, even with those you might not always agree with,
Right.
is essential for scientific progress.
It definitely adds another layer to the story.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've covered a lot of ground here today.
We have.
We've explored Rosalind Franklin's early life, her crucial work at King's, her remarkable achievements at Birkbeck,
Yes.
and the complexities of her relationships with other key figures in the DNA saga.
We've also seen how her work has had a lasting impact,
Yeah.
shaping not only our understanding of DNA,
Right.
but also the field of virology.
Which is more relevant now than ever.
Absolutely.
Now, for our listeners who want to learn more,
Yeah.
we'll be sure to include some resources in the show notes.
There are some excellent biographies out there
Okay.
that provide a comprehensive look at her life,
All right.
like Rosalind Franklin, The Dark Lady of DNA by Brenda Maddox.
Yes. A great book.
It offers a really nuanced perspective.
And Rosalind Franklin and DNA by Anne Sayre is a great read as well.
It is.
It's written by a close friend of Rosalind's.
Yeah.
And offers a more personal perspective.
Absolutely. And for those who want to delve into the science itself,
Yeah.
there are a number of resources online
Okay.
where you can access her original publications.
Awesome.
Reading her work firsthand really gives you a sense of her brilliance and dedication.
Now, before we wrap up, I can't resist asking you one last question.
Okay.
If Rosalind Franklin were alive today, what area of scientific research do you think she would be drawn to?
That's a fascinating question.
Yeah.
Considering her meticulous approach and passion for visualizing complex structures,
Yeah.
I imagine she'd be right at the forefront of structural biology,
Oh, wow.
perhaps even working with cryo-electron microscopy.
Cryo-electron microscopy. That sounds pretty high-tech.
It is. It's a revolutionary technique that allows scientists to study biological samples,
Okay.
like viruses, at extremely low temperatures,
Interesting.
essentially freezing them in time.
Oh, wow.
This preserves their natural state
Okay.
and allows us to see these intricate details of these tiny structures
Yeah.
in a way that wasn't possible during Franklin's time.
So we're talking about seeing the individual atoms that make up a virus.
Yeah, it really is remarkable.
That's mind-blowing.
It's pretty incredible. It's like having a super powerful magnifying glass for the molecular world. And knowing Rosalind's passion for pushing technological boundaries,
Yeah.
I can definitely picture her embracing this technology to further our understanding of viruses and other complex biological systems.
It's exciting to think about the breakthroughs that are still to come,
It is.
building upon the foundation laid by scientists like Rosalind Franklin.
It really is. And her story serves as a powerful reminder that scientific progress is a continuous journey
Yeah.
built on the contributions of countless individuals.
Right.
It's a collaborative endeavor, even if some voices are louder than others.
And sometimes those contributions aren't always recognized or celebrated in the moment.
That's true.
It's up to us, those who follow in their footsteps,
Yeah.
to ensure that everyone who played a role in advancing our understanding of the world
Right.
receives the credit they deserve.
Absolutely. Rosalind Franklin's story is finally getting the attention it deserves.
Yeah.
She's being recognized not just for her scientific brilliance, but also for her resilience and her unwavering pursuit of knowledge.
Yeah.
Despite facing significant obstacles.
It's a legacy worth celebrating.
It is.
So to our listeners, we encourage you to continue exploring Rosalind Franklin's story
Yeah.
and to appreciate the impact she had on science and the world. Her life and work serve as a powerful reminder
Yes.
that even in the face of challenges, one person can make a difference.
And remember, the next time you hear about a groundbreaking scientific discovery,
Yeah.
take a moment to think about all the individuals who contributed,
Okay.
even those whose names might not be in the headlines.
That's a good point.
Because behind every great scientific achievement,
Yeah.
there's often a team of dedicated researchers, each playing a vital role.
That's a great point to end on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the life and legacy of Rosalind Franklin.
It was my pleasure.
Until next time, keep those brains buzzing.